Happy New Year and welcome to yet another edition of Evening Review. My name is Ephraim Nekongo and today we're joined in studio by the Affirmative Repositioning. But before we dive into that interview, please take a look at today's front page. Evening, my brother. Welcome back.
No, evening. Thank you very much for having us again for the first time this year of 2021.
Okay. Want to hone into AR won a seat on the City Council. Congratulations for that. With that seat, how is AR going about addressing land, particularly within Windhoek?
Yeah, no, so when it relates to the city of Windhoek, we actually have 2 seats. That means out of 15. Of course, it's not what we expected, but of course, we are not a political party, we are a movement, and we just added this side of struggle, which is election recently. So we are learning, and we are very proud and happy that we've managed to get at least 2 representatives because we are fighting from the outside. So at least now we have 2 deployees that are inside. And they are going to take clear instruction from the movement in terms of what must happen when it comes to the transformation of the city.
Now, if we're looking at the transformation of the city, and given that your main position has always been land, how is the movement once again going about addressing the issue of land for residents of the city of Windhoek?
Yeah, no, the land question have always been central to the affirmative repositioning movement. But of course, given the dynamics and the climate of politics now in the country, of course, we don't have outright majority when it comes to the city council. So there's a body which is constituted that is called progressive forces, because none of the political party was able to get 50+1 for you to be able to be in charge of the city. So what happened from the movement, we had a document that is called WRT. So it's Windhoek Radical Transformation that speaks about different types of 5 interventions. So we're very clear to say that at the center of those interventions is the land question, where we are speaking now of in terms of the pre-allocation of plots to our residents. Because what we've been witnessing for the past 30 years of flag independence is that the property developer have taken, you see, advantage of the crisis of the land question of housing. Then you have the banks and many others have been making profit from this crisis. So what we have then decided is to say that what is the intervention that we are going to embark upon when it relates to the land question. Now we are speaking about those specific intervention of establishing a housing fund, because it's even within the local authority provision itself, for you to be able to have an opportunity to subside those that are low-income earners, to subside those that have no income at all. Because it doesn't mean when you are not working, you don't deserve a place to call home. So aspects such as the pre-allocation of land is going to speed up and fast-track the delivery of land, because if we say that we have allocated you a Erven in Ochomise, even if there's no services that take place yet, you have a title deed to that specific place. So most of our informal settlements, people are just settling there on a leasing agreement. They have no title deeds to it. And what the other leadership have been doing is giving some sort of certificate of occupation that just acknowledge that you are settling there. But we are very serious in terms of making sure that we give our people title deeds. We do pre-allocation of land. We are introducing housing initiative events for companies. So the Namibian Sun must be able to submit a proposal and say we have 60 employees and we are looking to subside, and the city assisting us with giving us sufficient land for us to be able to build houses for employees.
Okay. I would assume that there have been a number of, notwithstanding the festive season and notwithstanding that activity basically came to a halt. That there have been a number of meetings that have been held with City Council by your two councillors that serve on the City Council. In addressing these land issues and with the positions that you hold, what is the message that has come back from those that serve on council? What is it that they have been able to do? Fair enough, it's quite a short time, but what are the discussions that you are hearing as far as your policies are concerned?
Yeah, no, of course, we know that the council or the councillors were just sworn in on the 2nd of December. Then immediately after that was holiday, then we are back in January again. So from the side of the city, the councillors had to go for induction by the line ministry, which is the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, just for them to understand the framework, the legal aspect in terms of how local authority and municipalities are run, how they are expected, the interaction and so forth. Yeah, but however, before that, the mayor of the city, who's the activist in chief of the Affirmative Repositioning movement, Dr. Joe Pampanda, created a policy direction in terms of the city in his mayoral address, where he spoke about what we were referring to as hanging fruits. What were the pertinent issues at that particular point in time that they are taking in terms of policy direction? And they spoke about now things of amnesty to traffic offenders. They spoke about amnesty to old age residents. Then they spoke about even pertinent things such as the Ochomise Extension 11, in terms of where we know that mass housing project took place. Houses are not inhabitable, they are left idling while people are homeless. They spoke about getting at the center of some of those initiatives and making sure that the city is going to be a role player and they are going to play that role as a city that is responsible. Speaking about Korea Hub Dam Extension 4, where the government program of servicing was supposed to take place, but nothing has happened so far. So those were some of the initiatives, as well as student accommodation for our residents in Windhoek. We know, for example, institutions, majority of them are here in the capital city. We have NAS, we have IUM, we have UNAM, but their hostel capacity can accommodate majority of our students. So policy direction was given clearly to say what are the priorities at this point in time, what is to be done from the policy level. Then they are able then to come and sit and have their first council meetings, because we must also be able to understand the order and meaning of things in terms of how municipalities are run and how they operate. So these people are here to sit and have council meeting where they are able to adapt and take resolution in terms of what is our strategic plan of action for the next 5 years. What are our short-term intervention in terms of really addressing these pertinent issues that our people are faced with. But of course, they are yet to have a council meeting, but in terms of the address of the mayor.
You know that for sure?
Yeah, they are yet to have of course, you must sit as councillors and have a meeting where you are able then to take decision, because decision have to be taken by council.
How much of AR's policy do you see taking place within council? Because I'm sure council has deliberated and they've drafted out a year plan. So how much of AR's policy do you see building into that? How much, and are you satisfied with the impact that you would have, notwithstanding the 2 seats that you currently occupy? Yes,
because the good thing about the constitution of the whole city of Windhoek Council, I don't know if it just happened by the grace of God or what really happened, is that we are required to work together as a collective. Of course, for example, Southwest Africa have 5 councillors, but they can't constitute majority. But that doesn't mean if they don't form part of the progressive forces, the ideas can be implemented. So it requires people to have thorough discussion, for them to have debates and discuss that what is the best idea that we are able to implement. And we are very lucky and fortunate as a movement to have a document specifically for Windhoek. Of course, we are not a political party, we are not contesting everywhere. So most of the political formation have manifestos for the whole country. But we're very specific to say our document is a commitment to the capital city, because we know it's characterized by corruption, it's characterized by bad thing as a city. So our document is there. We then bring it on the table and say the other political formation then brings their document or manifesto at the table. Then we are able then to analyze and say which is the best intervention that we are able to adapt, and which is the idea that we really think is good going forward. In our WRT commitment to Windhoek, which is our program of action for the next 5 years, we're speaking in terms of the mayoral chain to fall. We're seeing those things happening. Our mayor never wore that mayoral chain because it's a colonial thing, it's a chain of corruption, it's a chain that is characterized by a lot of bad things when it comes to the city. So very clear from the onset what we meant.
That's not to say that the chain will not be worn by the next mayor.
Yeah, we are just saying in terms of what we have promised our people. We have taken a commitment to say that when we are saying you are radically transforming something, we've taken that position and decision to say that we are not going to wear that mayoral chain.
Okay, all good and well, you're not going to wear the mayoral chain, and that you've extended Christmas lights alongside Independence Avenue up until Katutura. But what does that mean for me if I want land now, if I want a house now?
Yes, no, that's what we really want just to reaffirm and direct it to the public out there. That, of course, the leadership was just sworn in December.
Of course.
Yes, so you don't just say today, go and take land for yourself. Of course, they were saying people were going through induction. Do you understand? So, but it's a movement.
So it's not, so it's not a gimmick.
No. What we are saying, a gimmick is those that are going around. Because it doesn't make sense for a leadership that just came in December, then all of a sudden you are saying you are tired. But you have not given them even an opportunity to sit. They are not even aware in terms of the capital city to say, let's conduct a land audit. Which land is available, which land is sold, which land is service, which land is for industries, which is for residential area and so forth. So you must just wake up and then you start dishing out things like that. That's why we have a capital city that is a mess, because they've never been proper planning. You have places where there are no public parks, there's no places for all, and so forth.
There are public parks,
but I'm saying, if you go, for example, in Okanja Park, if you go into Besanyeko, where I come from, yes, that's why we say we must then be able to plan properly. Create ideological direction and say, look, this is our intervention in terms of what we understand, that our people are impatient, our people are angry, our people want land. But do we say then it's fair for you to expect someone that has been for 4 weeks in the office that must give you land? You have not even given them opportunity to tell you what is that they are going to do.
Okay. Simon, deliverables for the next
5 years.
No, not 5 years. I want to focus. I want to take this year by year, because the reason why I'm doing this is because the mayorship currently sits with AR.
Yes.
Within council, what would AR want to prioritize, and what do you believe can be achieved before new mayor is voted for and so on in?
Yeah, of course, as I said,
assuming a new mayor is going to come.
Of course, as I said, what is central to the affirmative repositioning movement is the land question. So to us, land is a priority. Our people must be able to be given land. We are speaking about professionals, we are speaking about low wage earners, we are speaking about those that are unemployed and so forth. So land is going to be central, and we are going to prioritize in making sure that our people are going to get the land, our people are going to have some dignity where they are able to live. And we've classified that to say, okay, for students, this is what we are going to do, it's a student village. For the professionals, we are going to pre-allocate. For those that are unemployed and low wage earners, we are going to establish a housing fund, or where we are able to subsidize and make sure that these people have access to the land question. But so far, what the leadership have done under the stewardship of the mayor, they've already even begun a relocation program to say they've done an assessment. Some areas were flooded, particularly in the informal settlement. They've identified space somewhere where they are relocating the people. Okay. But it's not only about the new ones, it's also about those existing ones that are in the informal settlement. We want to reorganize the informal settlement before you formalize them, so that our people at least have access to basic services such as electricity, water, and so forth, that they are not just congested. We take proper services such as proper roads to these people and so forth.
Okay.
So land is one of the priorities. Secondly, is the employment aspect. So we spoke very clearly.
Okay, it's fine.
Yes.
Just very briefly.
Yes, we spoke very clearly in terms of that the city must have a role when it comes to employment creation. So we have said that we are going to get rid of unnecessary tenders. So those outsourcing of services just to give friends and associate projects. So we are saying the municipality must be able to build internal capacity, where if you have land surveyors, if you have all these type of technocrats that are within, they must be able to perform this duty and making sure that we deliver services to our people.
Okay, Simon, recent land grabs that occurred within the city, Your reaction, because if one goes back to the history of AR, it started in Kleine Cooper, where ERF 2014 was occupied by the three gentlemen.
Yes.
Your reaction?
Yeah. No. Our reaction when we're anticipating that to happen, because of course we have two that we referred always, even through our program, to say that there will always be those antagonist forces that will want the WRT and the leadership of the mayor to fail. And we are not surprised. But one key thing that we are taking away from it is that we don't even see it when the people say land grab and whatsoever. It's called land occupation. And it's very central to the affirmative repositioning, because we reiterate to say that even ourselves, if the leadership that is in charge of any town council or any municipality are failing to deliver land to the people, we stand ready to apply that tactic in terms of occupying land. Because you must be given the mandate. We go and promise our people we are giving land, including Windhoek. So if Windhoek is unable to deliver land as they are promising, with our two deployees, we give instruction, they are unable to do so. We won't hesitate mobilizing our people and making sure that we are going to occupy unoccupied land. Because once the processes and procedures that are placed there are not working, our people will resort to what you call to self-help. Because of course, for the past 30 years...
Are you satisfied with what happened?
With what happens at this gimmick. We are not taking it serious what transpired in Ochomise.
Do you condemn it?
That was a gimmick.
Do you condemn it?
No, I'm not condemning it, of course, but we are taking a lesson for it as a reminder to say that our people are tired. And to the new leadership of the city, I think that was supposed to serve as a reminder to say, if you are going to do what the previous leadership have been doing, we are prepared to do what exactly the affirmative repositioning was doing.
So 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, let's put a fair time space on this. 18 months down the line.
Yes.
And you fail, hypothetically, you fail to get out of the starting blocks, and something like this happens. What would you then say to those people that would do that?
No, that's why I'm making it very clear to say land occupation remains an option to the affirmative repositioning movement, and we stand ready to mobilize societies and community to occupy land when those that are entrusted with the mandate to give us land are failing to do so. So anytime, any day, we stand ready to apply this method. As you said, we started those type of things. Look, because what had been happening, for example, the affirmative repositioning went to State House, signed an agreement of 200,000 plus to be serviced, nothing until to date. So these things of arrangements and talking speeches and signing, it comes to a point where people get tired. So even if the new leadership of the city comes 2 months, 2 years, or how many months, that it depends on what they are going to tell us, and they are failing to deliver on their promises to the people, we are then going to mobilize and say that this system has failed, I thought it's going to change, and this is the only option that is available for us to take land for ourselves.
Okay. Conclusion of the elections. There was a candidate in Walfish Bay that you backed. He was a regional councillor.
Yeah.
He didn't do well. Look at the performance of AR, not within the city council, but other regional councils. Are you satisfied? What do you make of AR's poor showing in these elections?
I wouldn't really refer it as poor, because of course it was, we just said we established what we call the fifth site of struggle, which is election. It's a pillar that we've added within our programs and action. It's the first time we are ever contesting as an association in this election. And we are satisfied so far. Of course, we take note that we're not able to get seats in both Valves Bay as well as Swakop Moon where we contested. Because
so you also contested in the north?
Yeah. No, we never contested in the north.
Pau.
Yes. No, those are, of course, independent candidates that we begged. Because the electoral laws make it very clear that association, you can't field candidates. So it's independent candidate.
Did Pau, they're not...
Pau is an activist of the affirmative repositioning movement who was contesting as an independent candidate, meaning he's independent from any other entity. But of course, he's an activist of the affirmative repositioning. Of course, we did very well. If you are able to look at the numbers in terms of what we're able, because it's a learning process. It's our first encounter into election. And if you are telling us maybe we participated, the person got 10 votes or so, but if you are able to compare the candidates of the affirmative, or to say the independent candidates that were backed by the affirmative repositioning movement, and you look at the numbers, we are either second or third. But we have formations that have been in existence for 5 or 20 years, but relatively, in terms of results, they have done. So it's something that we are learning from, and we are very proud of the activists just for them to be able to stand up in their community and contest. Because it even helped for Southwest Africa to lose power. Because we must be able to understand victory. Victory doesn't only mean when you win that particular position. Because if you're able to get 500, then the person that usually used to lead is not getting the maximum
But
votes.
to your argument, if you're talking about victory, one would say that the biggest winners out of this election would have been IPC and LPM.
It depends on which side do you put it. How do you say they are the biggest
If you're
winner?
looking at it as a victory for AR, now I'm speaking in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying for us we contested in three, only 3 local authorities. Swakopmund, Valves and Windhoek. Windhoek we did, of course, very well. If you are able to see, because we must be able to understand all the dynamics. We got 8,000 votes. SWAPO got 20,000, IPC the second got 14,000, LPM 7, then the official opposition got 5. So look at the numbers. We're able to look at the number and see the ruling party came from 12 seats to 5 seats. So that's the impact that we are able to bring by mobilizing society, that making sure that there are other forces that are uniting, that are fighting. Because victory must not only be associated to a certain movement. The whole collective agenda is to make sure that we remove the corrupt Southwest Africa from power.
Okay. Recently in a statement, you referred to a leader of a youth league as being a sex maniac. It was in wording. Obviously, looking ahead, you have, one would say that I assume you have ambitions for political office, higher political office one day. Bearing in mind, should one expect this type of rhetoric coming from AR to use such language?
Yes, Rone, what I would like to make it clear is to say that I'm the spokesperson of the Affirmative Repositioning movement. So I'm duty bound to protect, defend the integrity, the character, as well as the program and ideology of the AR movement.
Yes.
So it's not a personal thing that is coming from Simon. So what I'm speaking about is the voice of the collective. So it's the position of the movement. So what you must be able to understand is that as the Affirmative Repositioning movement, we are operating up here. There will always be those antagonist forces that are distracting us. And,
okay.
And SWAPO Party Youth League is one of them. So we had to dismiss them.
But I've never seen such language coming from SWAPO Party Youth League.
Yeah, we are very serious.
Officially.
That's what we are saying. Once you descend into the political arena, we deserve or we reserve our right to come for you. There is no boundaries. As we are saying, you must be able to understand that when you fight corruption or when you fight criminals, they fight you back. So when you fight crime, crime fights you back. When you fight corruption, corruption fights you back. So we want to focus on the clear objective that we have set, and there are people distracted. Of course, they have motives why they are doing so. So we have to get rid of them, either whatever means. We have to get rid of them, so we focus on what we have set ourselves to
So
achieve.
is that the justification for calling or referring to Mr. Nekongo as a sex maniac?
Yeah, we're just saying anyone that comes to try and distract the focus of the Affirmative Repositioning movement, we are going to put you in your place. We can come for you. We can take you on. We reserve the. It's a political arena. It's not some sort of a church arrangement where maybe we must bow down and do things.
But
it's a game of politics.
One can say that even if it is a game of politics, one could, there should be an element of being courteous to one's opponent, even if you do agree with them. I mean, is it necessary to stoop to those levels?
No, Rone, what we are saying, and I'm just repeating it again. Once you descend in the political arena, of course, what does the statement of the SWAPO Party Youth League says? They are saying we are the founders of land grabbing and so forth, but you have a national executive member, Secretary of Education, that's serving their CC, that is a national leader that goes on Facebook saying that this is just the beginning, we are going to mobilize more. But the first
mobilize more what?
Yes, mobilize more people to occupy land, as you refer to as land grabbing and so forth. Is someone within the ranks of that specific leadership. But the same thing, or the first thing you do as a leader, you don't take responsibility and condemn your member. You must be then, as a leader, be able to take responsibility and say, those are not the views of the SWAPO Party Youth League, and we condemn that. So what you come and do, you refer to us as the founders, as the father of land grabbing, and so forth.
So you don't have any remorse whatsoever, and this is just a moment. Please give me a minute.
Yes.
No remorse for that phrase, and one should expect that in future, these are the type of attacks that AR is going to engage in.
Yeah, no, of course, maybe other people are taking it out of context. I'm reading others are saying, no, we are involving small kids into politics.
I will get there, I will get there.
So what we are saying is that it was the decision of a collective, and we had to do it at that particular in time because the organization was under attack. And of course, we anticipated, and these things are not going to stop anytime soon. But what we are saying is that if we ought to engage each other respectfully, it must come from both sides. Because if you show us this sign, we will be able to return the favor.
Then also in that statement, Mr. Nekongo is called a sex maniac, and then you make reference to his 10 children. These are infants, these are small children, assuming they are 10. I mean, if you are the mother of any of these children, or if you are their child, and you look back and you reflect on that, and your father is called a sex maniac, do you think it's fair?
Of course, the remarks of the 10 children from 10 different wives or 10 different women. Of course,
does it also not send a wrong message?
Of course, it was uttered because it was necessary. It can be wrong, but it was necessary at that point in time. And we are saying we did not involve the kids of Master Nekongo into this. We say the number of his children. We did not go and say the 10-year-old who, no, it's just if I say now, Ohone is working for Namibian Sun. You are employed at Namibian Sun. We are not attacking Namibian Sun. So we have specifically said the number of children you have. And it was even said in good faith to say that they must
How can something like that
be
in good faith?
It's said in good faith because we are saying they must do away with this political gimmick of inciting and orchestrating plans to sabotage the work of the new leadership by saying occupy land and what they are. Because what we are fighting for is not for ourselves. We are fighting for our kids. We are fighting for those kids that are small, including Master Nekongo's 10 children. There is no insult about that. So it can be my kids, it can be Master Job Ampanda's kids, it can be a minister's kids. We're just giving reference to Master Nekongo because he's the one that authored the letter. If it was the spokesperson of Swapo Party that authored that letter, that undersigned it, we could refer to him because he's the one that authored the letter. We're saying, let's take this land matter serious because this is not only about the affirmative repositioning. It has to do with our future and the future of our children.
As a political movement, sending out such a message, what do you think? How do you think the ordinary Namibian must look at something like must look at a statement like that?
The statement of calling someone to take the land question serious.
No,
because that's what the statement is saying.
Sex maniac.
That's what we are saying. Of course, sex is a word that came along because of the situation at that particular point in time. Do you understand?
Oh, so it was in the heat of the moment.
That's what we are saying. We are busy with serious matter. Someone comes and issue unnecessary statement. And so that's why they've continued even after that, our statement, the deputy of Nekongo went to issue another statement. We're not into the business of continuing to write statements to each other. We address it once. We make sure that we dispose anything that is distracting us because we want to be focused. They wanted to keep us into this discussion, but we refused to do so. So we are very, very focused in terms of addressing the land question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wonderful having me.
Please do stay tuned for the weather. Good night.